So is Bitcoin the mark of the beast? No, I don't think it is. Will Bitcoin lead the mark of the beast? The mark of the beast? I think that it absolutely could. In this video, I'm going to tell you why. First of all, this question comes from a subscriber. I've recently said if you put a question in my comments related to Bitcoins or cryptocurrency, then I'll do my best to address that in a video. This actually came from a subscriber, and that was her question. She actually sent me another video where a gentleman was talking about it, and it was a very religious video. And as someone who identifies with being a Christian, I understood the premise of the video. The problem with that video is it puts out a lot of fear, like, oh no, avoid Bitcoin. Listen, here's what I'm going to tell you. I absolutely believe this technology could lead to the mark of the beast. I don't believe Bitcoin is the mark of the beast or cryptocurrency is the mark of the beast. But for the first time ever, I see signs that definitely point in that direction. And I'll discuss that in this video. And I'll also tell you why I don't think you need to worry about it. So at the end of the video, I'll tell you why I don't think you need to worry about it really at all. So here's first of all why I think it could lead to, it's not the mark of the beast today. I don't believe that at all. We're not even using this. It's not even mainstream yet. However, if you follow my channel, you know that I believe in gaining wealth and investing in the crypto space because I think that it's in its infancy. So I make investments in a lot of places, and a lot of my videos are about the technology, news, mass adoption, and investing in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in general. However, what I can tell you, and I did a small video series on this, the thing about Bitcoin is obviously it's not mainstream yet. Lately, it's shot up in value. A lot of people know about it, but it's not a mainstream currency solution. In order for it to be mark of the beast, it would have to be some sort of it would have to be accepted primarily, nearly worldwide, and it would have to be used as a primary one world currency. Does it have that potential? I absolutely believe it does have that potential, but that's still a good long ways away. I mean, governments are going to try to fight it at first before they ever eventually accept it, hopefully. And you're like, Jackie, you're saying it could lead to the mark of the beast, and you think governments should accept it. Like, you're investing in this, you believe in this. Yes, and I'll tell you why towards the end of the video. But the main reason I think that it could potentially lead to mark of the beast is one of the things that the book of Revelations talks about is it talks about, something that symbolizes or that people believe, is 666. And this mark of the beast is needed to be able to get access to basic goods and services, to be able to get access to medical care, foods. You have to accept the mark in the book of Revelations, but if you accept the mark, then you're basically damned to hell, so to speak. So you're left with this horrible decision. Do you feed yourself and feed your family and accepting the mark, damning your soul to hell, or do you not accept the mark, let your family starve, etc., etc.? At least that's some people's belief. And ultimately go to heaven because you're dedicated to God, and you don't accept the mark of the beast. However, the whole theory of the mark of the beast has always been like, how could that happen? What could they do? Well, what they could do, first of all, let's back up. It's important to understand that the way Bitcoins work that makes it so unique, one of the advantages to Bitcoins is that nobody controls it but you. And this goes for any cryptocurrency. It doesn't matter whether it's Neo, IOTA, Bitconnect, it doesn't matter. If you lose your Bitcoin, you can't go to your local bank. If your Bitcoin gets hacked, if your online wallet gets hacked, if someone steals your hardware wallet, there's no one to call. It's like if you hold money in your hand, you leave it laying around, someone grabs it and runs away with it. It's like cash, basically. There's nothing like a bank. Like, in other words, if your credit card gets hacked or your bank account gets hacked, then it's federally insured to a certain amount if it's your bank account, and then your credit card companies, if there's fraud, in this day and age, you probably had a fraud alert on your credit card just like I have, and if that happens, you just have to prove your identity, let them know that it was fraud, and basically they reimburse you for those funds. That doesn't exist. So that's good and bad, right? It's good because there's a little bit of security there for you. It's bad if you're concerned about government inflating your money away, your savings away through inflation. If you're worried about quantitative easing and all this stuff that happens, then if you're worried about things like what's going on in Argentina, different places in African countries where their national currencies just get devalued, 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 no matter how hard you work, the government's printing more and more and more. The price of your currency is going down, 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 down. So, there's no real national currency. So in that case, you don't want the government to be in charge of your currency, your dollars. So if Bitcoin, in the case of Bitcoin, there's no one to inflate it. You can't just print more out of thin air. They have to be mined. There's a process that goes through, and then there's only a limited amount that could ever actually be mined. No one can counterfeit a Bitcoin. No one can counterfeit any other cryptocurrency. So therefore, that's why people like cryptocurrencies. However, the issue with cryptocurrencies is security is paramount. When you read that someone owns 1,000,000 Bitcoin, what that means is they have 1,000,000 Bitcoin somewhere in their possession. They have what's called a cold wallet, or a hard wallet, or a hot wallet, or a hardware wallet, where they have 1,000,000 Bitcoin. And those 1,000,000 Bitcoin are somewhere. They might have a hardware wallet or a cold wallet, and they might have it somewhere in a safe deposit box at a safe at their house. They have access to that somewhere. The question is where. Obviously, they don't talk about it for obvious reasons. This is very similar to gold. If you own gold, you have gold. A lot of people have gold or silver at their house, and if you don't, then you pay somewhere. You pay a storage fees to have it stored somewhere. There's nowhere to pay storage fees to store Bitcoin. It's not a physical asset in and of itself. But you can store the digital data on something called a hardware wallet, like a Ledger Nano S. This is one of the more secure wallets out there in the market, by far. However, you can't lose. The great thing about this is when you have your Bitcoin on a product like the Ledger, then it can't be. No one can hack into your computer and take them because they're not on your computer. The information is stored on this little wallet here called a hardware wallet. The brand is Ledger Nano S. So no one can steal it off your computer unless they break into your house or unless your house burns down. But what could be more secure? Like, what happens if you just misplaced that and you had $1,000 on it, or 100,000, or worse, 1,000,000? Like, what would happen? That would just be horrible. But have you ever lost your hand without it being physically detached? Or how about your arm? Like, you don't misplace your arm, right? It's always there. So this is, the technology that's already been discussed. This is an older article last year, but this is RFID technology is a real thing, and this is basically implantable Bitcoin wallets, and talking about how you could implant these wallets. And this is an RFID chip or NFC chip implanted in the thumb. And there's places already experimented with this. There's different companies that have done this because you don't have to worry about security. Companies have done it for access to certain locations, say in a company plan or whatever. The fascinating thing about this technology is this actually makes your Bitcoin and cryptocurrency super safe. Like, someone needs to know how much you have, and that's hard for them to know. They have to know that you have this implantable chip. They have to know where you have it implanted. And if you have it, you have no fear of losing it. You're not going to misplace it. So that makes it a bit more secure than a Ledger wallet. And now there's people that are like, yeah, if someone knows, they'll kill you, they'll cut your arm off. Yeah, I get it. And if someone knows you're worth millions of dollars, you all obviously run the risk of being robbed or someone ransoming your kids or whatever. Those are always real risks. But this is one of the more secure solutions. I can totally see a demand if Bitcoin went mainstream, first of all, how people would use these RFID chips. Now, this in and of itself is not the mark of the beast. But there's also been research where they can put medical data on these chips. There's been research where these chips and sensors could literally monitor your body's bodily functions and report back to your doctor. Like, you don't even have to do anything. So imagine first it being a wallet. Imagine being able to hold data. Now you got all your banking data and everything on some sort of chip somewhere in your body. You go to the store, you just swipe it. At some point that could be considered the mark of the beast. It could definitely lead that way. For the first time ever, I've seen technology going in that direction. Now, my friend who sent me this video, who's also subscribed to my channel, the video itself had a lot of fear in it. Like, oh no, avoid this technology, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's just crazy. I actually think, if anything else, that's confirmation that this technology is going to go mainstream and you should jump in. Avoiding the technology means you might as well become Amish. You see, in the 1900s, the Amish started because they didn't want technology. They were worried about technology. They thought technology as in cars and electricity. They thought basic technology was of the devil. Well, the same people who spread this fear about, oh no, Bitcoin is the mark of the beast. Oh no, this is heralding the mark of the beast. Listen, even if it is, you can't stop it, and it's not the mark of the beast today. If you believe that, then you need to know that science is ultimately probably what's going to lead to the mark of the beast, and you should probably go be a recluse somewhere. Now, how long is this going to take? Who knows? Am I going to accept the mark of the beast? No. However, I'll do my best to provide for my family and to be aware of technology and to invest in technology. This technology is going to do a lot of good before it ever does anything bad, if it ever does anything bad. So I actually see this as ultimately a positive for investors, at least until the day that it actually becomes a mark of the beast. So if you if you ask me, I say this is just confirmation. Get in, start investing. This stuff is going to go mainstream eventually, especially if this is indeed the mark of the beast. Cryptocurrency is a big thing. Bitconnect, Bitcoin is a real thing. So that's the question. Is it the mark of the beast? No. Is it going to become the mark of the beast? Maybe. Does that dissuade me from investing in it? Ironically, absolutely not.